What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Oshay Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Guys, I want to talk about Meg Thee Stallion again. This has been something that we've been talking about out on this channel, but she wrote a really good piece on the New York Times, which if she wrote it, I'm quite shocked. And the piece was called "Why I Speak Up for Black Women," and it was a really good piece. If she wrote it, hats off to her. It was a very well written article. It was very well thought out. And, also, although I disagree with many of the sentiments, I can respect positions. And that's what I'm dealing with in this article. I'm not dealing with name calling or any ad hominem attacks. I'm dealing with what she's saying. And Meg Thee Stallion has this article called "Why I Speak Up for Black Women," which was a really good article. Okay. And she talks about the way that she dresses, how people look at her appearance and judge her on that. She talked about how black mothers have a mortality rate than 3 times that of white mothers. She talks about how she was, receiving violence from a man. And why she's speaking up for black women. And all these things are true. But a lot of times when people talk about analytics, they don't talk about why the analytics are that way, because in sports, you can look at analytics. For example, I was watching a video about with Marc Gasol, who played center. And although he didn't rebound very well, he won the defensive MVP award, back a few years ago. But see, they were showing things about how he affects the games in ways that statistics just can't talk about. And the energy he brings to the game, how he switches on defenses, how he calls out switches and stuff like that. Those things you can't see on the analytics. They don't tell the entire story. And what I feel like with women like Meg Thee Stallion, when you want to quote up analytics and when you want to talk about situations that black women are in, you're talking about statistics, but you're talking about symptoms, but you're talking about the disease. You're not talking about why those are the case, right? And when we talk about stuff like, how she was shot, well, when you say you want to protect black women, the question is, are we able to protect black women from themselves? See, that's something that we can talk about. We could talk about black women suffering abuse. We can talk about black women getting pregnant and having a higher mortality than that. We can talk about all of these things that black women go through. But at the end of the day, can we talk about protecting black women from some of the decisions that they make? Because see, that is where we're going to have a very, very big issue with. Because see, one thing that society can never do in America, in the free world, is protect black women from the decisions that they make. We cannot protect black women from some of the decisions and situations that they put themselves in. You can try, you can tell them, you can speak to them, but you cannot protect them from their own decisions. And many of those decisions can lead to problems. For an example, I live in Del Paso Heights. All right, I'm from that area. It's well known that if you walk outside at night in Del Paso Heights, especially in the era I was coming up in the 90s, it's a very good chance, a high possibility that you could run into some kind of trouble. Whether the police stop you, which this happened to me. I've had guns put on me for no reason because I looked suspicious. Or some gang members, okay? The same thing here in Uganda and Kampala. If you're in like, Nana Jemkumbi, or you're hanging out in Kamocha in the slums at night, now technically you didn't do anything to deserve getting robbed or getting stabbed. Or if you're in, some of the worst parts of Johannesburg, South Africa, you didn't do anything, but because you're out that late in the wrong part of time, see, nobody could protect you from yourself from making that decision. Although you didn't deserve that, but see, the situation is you put yourself in a situation where that can happen to you. Same thing with women who are black women that are dying at a higher mortality rate. When we talk about this, and we're not looking at the fact that these women who are dying at this mortality rate are poor. All right? And if you are poor, one of the things you don't want to do is get pregnant because you don't have access to health care. You don't have access to these things. All right? If you also deal with a man that is also poor and who cannot help you financially, you're also running a very, 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 very rough risk. This is just the truth. You're running a very, very, very rough risk. Now, if you want to get mad that is the case, after you've been educated or you know that you're in poverty and that you don't have this, and if you don't have resources available to you, not only are you going to suffer, you could suffer, but the child could suffer as well. And then when you want to complain about the mortality rate, then you want to speak up for them. But who will speak up for your choices? She talks about that black women are constantly disrespected and disregarded in so many areas of life. Right? She says this. But when she looks at how she portrays herself in videos, in stereotypes, her sexuality, in women who follow suit with her, see, what Megan Thee Stallion doesn't want to deal with is that this is a choice. Okay? Megan Thee Stallion wants to make herself or present herself like this. When you want to present yourself like this, it's a problem. It is a choice. People are going to make the decision sometimes to look down on it. But then here's the problem. People are going to have a problem with that. See, again, it's a choice. And the thing about it is you cannot make a choice and complain about it. Same thing with men. Men understand this. When you are a man and you're unproductive in society and you don't do anything, you don't control resources, and then you go out and you say that the black man has no respect, people are going to distinctly point out as to why you don't have that respect. You don't own things in your community. You're not building stuff. You're not doing these things. Why should people respect you? The women will be the first to tell you that. All right? The women will be the first to tell you that. And then when people say that, but when it comes to women, see, it's okay for the choices. But see, when it comes to men, people will say, you made a choice to not be productive. You made a choice not to be successful. And I'm saying the same thing to Megan Thee Stallion. Who can protect you from the choices that you make? Nobody. Albeit that you can make choices that you don't deserve what happened to you. Obviously not. But you can't blame society. You can't blame black men. You can't blame the white man. Everybody has to make good choices. People cannot make choices for if they mess with a Tory Lanez, a guy who's an imbecile. If you put yourself in bad situations, hanging out with people who have guns, and then you're a victim of violence, then all of a sudden you want to protect them. This is not protecting black women. Protecting black women is educating them that you have to be accountable for your decisions. I can't protect you if your decision making isn't good. See, a lot of things that sisters have to do is protect themselves. If sisters cannot protect themselves by making the best decisions, then if they make good decisions and they're still having problems, then I can understand that. When you're making bad decisions and you're causing some of these things to you to be affected in some of these things, you're actually putting yourself in a state where something bad can happen. Then we have to look at it and say, okay, well, can you minimize yourself from even dealing with a guy like Tory Lanez? Can you minimize yourself from, if you know that you don't have the money getting pregnant, dealing with a guy who can't take care of you? Can you minimize these things? Because a lot of black women minimize those things and are doing very well. You don't have to speak up for them. You speak up, or you're speaking up from sisters like yourself who don't want to be accountable for your mistakes. And I'm not saying that what Tory Lanez did was right, because it wasn't. But what I'm saying is this: if you make mistakes and nobody can protect you from bad decisions, how can we help you? How can we help you? Guys, it's your boy, Oshay Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Jump. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Guys, check me out here on the first comment pinned at the top. Check me out, the Patreon, check out all of that. I really thank you for all that you do. As you know, the buffoonery remains all-time high. Check out the Patreon. Peace out.